drugs, man, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's face it, why else would a 34-year-old white male in the United States of America be out here begging for change?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I mean, unless it's like a religious quest or something.
Yeah. Well, at least you're not just blaming it on somebody else. You know?
No, I can't.
Yeah. How long have you been in Austin?
About a year and a half.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where'd you come from?
Joliet, Illinois.
Oh, really? Long way, huh? Man.
Well, I was doing hard drugs, but I wasn't strung out yet.
Yeah.
So I was still enjoying life, you know. I was waiting tables and, you know.
Typical stuff.
Yeah, I was well on my way to destruction. I was living an idiotic lifestyle, but I was having fun and I had a lot of energy. I was in my early 20s, so you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
You're resourceful when you're young, you bounce back quick. My lifestyle has caught up with me now. I have 2 dope cases in Texas.
Yeah.
Both are pending, so I have problems. And I'm still out here pushing my luck, man.
Right.
Man, I tell you, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with just, you know, just your brain. I'm not here like jerking you off or anything, saying, you know, hey.
It's about half the brain I possessed 10 years ago, I can assure you.
A lot of the guys you talk to out here, they're not even coherent with what's going on. You know what I mean? They don't know really what's going on.
My brain is not the same. I can tell.
But
I know it. I've done a lot of brain damage. I mean, I have. You can't do the drugs I've done and not, you know,
they would do some damage.
suffer some consequences.
Have you ever tried rehabilitation?
I just got out of rehab.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. It was my 3rd treatment, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you think it did any good this time?
Well, I think they all did some good because they're a life experience, you know.
Right.
And you learn things, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, you learn what the latest clinical theory is on addiction. Right. And they are making, you know, some ground. I mean, they do know some things.
But they don't actually help cure the addiction.
No, because there is no known cure for addiction.
Right.
There is no known cure for addiction.
Except willpower, right? Except your own willpower.
Well, even that, see, the rehabilitation model, the recovery model, in the recovery model, willpower is of no avail. The best known cure for drug addiction is the 12-step program. Seriously.
Right.
I mean, that is statistically, it is the only thing that seems to work. All right? And it's, you know, it's about group recovery.
Right.
And it's also based on God. You've heard of the 12-step program, right? Yeah. Well, the 12 steps are a series of steps you take towards recovery. And God, or a higher power as it's put in the steps, is fundamental to the program.
Yeah.
A belief in a higher power. So really, it's a spiritual program. And statistically, it's the only thing that works.
So it's giving you something to believe in when you get into it, basically, right? It's giving you some kind of belief and some kind of faith into something.
And a group support network.
Yeah.
So you have clean people who are recovering. It's not enough just to have clean friends.
Yeah.
Because addicts don't hang out with their clean friends. They can't relate. So they need someone who's going through the same thing they're going through. And it's a support group. Support groups do miraculous things for people who, you know, are having life problems and behavioral problems that they can't overcome. You know, it seems to be the only thing that works. There's no pill for cocaine addiction. There's no such thing.
Well, let me ask: is some of these streets is like when you go to these different cities? I don't know how many cities you've been to, but are these different cities?
I've traveled around a bit.
Are some cities the streets that you're on? Are they different from the other ones?
Definitely. Austin is one of the most. Austin is becoming a big city. I would say it is now in the act of becoming a big city. It's going through the big city changes, you know. But it doesn't have all the hallmarks of a big city, culturally speaking. The streets here are incredibly safe. They really are.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you can get hurt here, and I've seen people hurt and killed here because I tend to be in environments, you know, where stuff happens.
Right.
Where the worst of the street violence occurs. So I'm privy to that more than your average person. But overall, I can't believe how safe it is. It's incredible. I mean, this is really a nice city with a really pretty low-key vibe.
Right.
For as much that's going on here. But that's changing. I've honestly seen the streets change here. In the mere year and a half I've been here, I've seen it change.
For good or
for the worse?
For the worse.
Like, I realized this tonight. See, I've been justifying this practice. When I first came to Austin, I always had my guitar. So I'd go out also with my guitar.
Yeah.
Well, lately, things have been getting worse for me in terms of my addiction. I've been pawning my guitar, so I haven't been able to hang on to a guitar.
Right.
The last guitar I had, I bought brand new at Mars Music.
Yeah.
I sold it 2 days later for $50 on 6th Street after having smoked. Because once I've smoked, you know what I mean, I'll sell my soul to the devil for another hit.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I realized sitting here tonight, I had a discussion with a guy last night about Spain, about panhandling, you know, and he was more or less admonishing me for panhandling, right? Saying that it's not a dignified way to make money. And I was disagreeing with him, mainly just for argument's sake and debate, but to explore ideas as well, and it's honestly how you look at it. Because as I brought up to him, in the Hindu tradition, part of the path is that you mandatorily become a mendicant. That's part of your assignment. When you go through the Hindu priesthood, part of your training is to go to the streets and beg. And the same thing with the Buddhists. It's part of their training. You know what I mean? It's spiritual training. And it was really difficult for me to panhandle. It was. The first couple of times I did it, it was like, you know, very painful.
Kind of an embarrassment way? Or?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Just, you know, very difficult to say, you know, say the words. Because in my mind, I really don't buy it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, can I ask you this?
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll take it in the wrong way or not.
No, I won't.
I haven't. I've never asked anybody like this been on the street, but what keeps a lot of people on the streets from just going and doing regular labor work or going to temp agencies or anything like that, getting work?
I work all the time, dude.
You do? But but you only work to support
crack
the habit.
Crack is so expensive. One time I smoked $1,500 worth of crack in 3 days. And guess what? When that was done, I wanted more.
Wow.
It wasn't enough.
Do you mind me asking who or what turned you on to it?
It was kind of happenstance. I mean, I had done cocaine before. I was I've been drugging since I was a kid.
Okay, so more like the powder substances, stuff like that led you on to this? The light drugs, more?
Well, sure, they paved the way, you know.
Right.
And I tried crack for the first time actually in Illinois about 91 was the first time. I was living in an apartment with some buddies. We were all musicians. It was kind of a musician apartment. We called it the Vortex because it was just an insane environment, man. The equipment was set up in the living room all the time. Big congas, everything. Guitars, amps, it was all there, man. Keyboards, you know, it was all ready to go, and it was just people floating in. It was a fun environment, actually. But it was a hippie pad. And just one night out of the blue, this dude comes by and he had some crack.